Hello everyone, my name is Azizat. Welcome to the first video of my project series. In this series, I'll be building a financial insight and analytics engine using Java and MySQL. I'll be documenting the entire development process from the very beginning. We'll start with planning the idea, then move on to design the database, writing the code, solving challenges along the way, and continuously improving the system throughout the whole project. So, what exactly am I building? I'm building a personal finance management system that allows users to organize, manage, and understand their financial records in one place. Financial data is often scattered across different platforms and stored without proper organization. Because of this, it can be very difficult for users to keep track of their spending patterns or gain useful information from their financial records. For instance, users might have their transaction records but still struggle to answer questions like, how much do I spend on food in a month? Or which category do I spend the most money on? Without a proper system, answering this question will literally mean manually checking through numerous transactions one after the other, which can really be stressful and time consuming. So, I decided to build a system that provides a simpler way for users to store their transactions, organize them, and get useful information from their financial data. Now, let's talk about what the system can actually do. The main feature of this application is transaction management. Users will be able to add new transactions, view existing record, update transactions whenever necessary, delete records they no longer need, and search for specific transactions quickly. So to make this record easier to manage, transactions will be grouped into different categories. These categories can include things like food, transportation, education, entertainment, bills, salary, investment, and several others. This will keep the information organized and make it easier to analyze financial activities in the future. Now, let's talk about the tools I'll be using to build this project. For the development of this project, I'll be using Java as the main programming language. This is because it provides the object-oriented features needed to build a scalable and well-structured application. For storing the data, I'll be using MySQL. This is where information like users, categories, and transactions will be saved, so that the records can still be accessed even after the application is closed. Since Java and MySQL need a way to communicate with each other, I'll be using JDBC, which stands for Java Database Connectivity. Basically, JDBC acts as a bridge between the application and the database. It allows the application to send in SQL queries, retrieve information, and store user data efficiently. I will also be using Git for version control, which allows me to keep track of every change I make throughout the development process. Finally, I will use GitHub to store the project online, document my progress, and showcase my work as I continue building the application. However, before writing the code, I'll first design how different parts of the system will work together. The project will be divided into different sections, with each section having its own responsibility. To begin with, the model classes will represent the data used in the application. Next, the data access object classes will handle communication with the database. Also, the service layer will contain the main application logic and process all the operations performed by the users. Finally, the main class will tie everything together and provide the interface through which users interact with the application. Designing the project this way makes the code more organized, easier to maintain, and also easier to add more features as the system grows. This forms the foundation of the entire project. In the next video, I'll focus on designing the database. I'll create the database, build the tables, and explain how the users, categories, and transaction tables are connected to each other. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.